Humble. Show up. DP stuff for stand up.
We back at it. Hey, Chess.
What's up, man? This is Doug, and we thank y'all again for kicking it in with the Kingz Chatter Podcast. Again, I'm Doug, here with my brothers, Aaron.
Wallace.
Fine, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It seems like we missing our other brother, Thomas, but you know.
Tommy T.
Thomas, man, we're going to try to do this, man, without you. Scrub, but we love you, bro.
It's gonna be tough, but we'll get through this.
I'm drawing a tear already.
I'm the only one. I said that with all genuine emotion. I love my
We
guy.
throwing bets now on how far back this dude, how long he be having me waiting. That's how. But I love you, bro. So we like to kick this thing off with a check-in. Of course, tap in with my brothers, seeing how they doing, man. So Aaron, man, what's good with you?
Loving life. Work, eat, sleep. That's my motto.
Work, eat, and sleep.
I do that.
You didn't have a baby today, bro. I feel like we got to talk about that because it's like what do you do?
I kick back. When I'm not working, I kick back. If I'm not talking shit, I kick back. So that's what it was. Like today, I just was chilling. I missed my granddaughter. She was with her mom getting her hair done, and
at my house.
At his house. She was just down the street. We live literally 2 seconds away from each other, right?
How's that mountain house thing, man? Now y'all like a city, right? Now?
I was going to raise the taxes.
One
For real.
One Safeway, they're a community now. I like it, man. What's good with you, my brother?
I'm good, man. Same. Aaron, just working, taking care of the kids, coaching basketball now.
Yeah. Today you're supposed to have the practice going on, right?
Yeah, but it's a holiday, so gym is closed.
That's right.
It's Veterans Day. Shout out to all the veterans out there.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for your service.
Shout out to my uncle,
Thank you
man.
for your service.
My Uncle Kenny. See your work, man. Appreciate
I couldn't do it, but I appreciate y'all for doing it.
'Cause I could not do it, man. They once got me. They be lying on the recruitment about what you get, and I feel like I almost fell for the okie doke until they be like, "Well, you get a free Mustang too." I'm like, "Nah, you lying."
Fuck that.
They show you all the good things. So apparently and don't come for me, but apparently a part of the American deal is you get like a Challenger, a Camaro, or a Mustang or something like American car when you sign on, and that's what the dude told me at 19. And I was like, "Yeah, you lying." So
now I did it for a 6'9" Camaro. I'd have been out there. This is
what
my
almost
rifle.
got me was he showed me the people, I guess back then it was MySpace, living in Tokyo in a service, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds great." But it ain't that much Pepto-Bismol in the world for me to eat all this. I just can't do it, bro. Because you only make like $45,000. You technically everything free, but you're saving all the money.
Saving it, but it's still not.
It's not conducive for how I'm trying to live, man.
So what? Other than the military, how was your day today?
My day was actually pretty good, man. For a Monday, like you said, man, I did notice that Veterans Day, all the kids was out. So it made the job a lot easier. I ain't gonna tell everybody what I do, but I was rolling around the streets freely without the kids being in my way. So, that's cool. Also, on a serious note, I actually reached back out I started my therapy up again, which is a whole little stigma. People talking about, therapy for crazy people again. It's not, but the reason why I started it back up again because, when you feel yourself going for things that start to work your mind, you start to get stressed out, you don't know how to deal with them, or things like that, or old depression or old anxiety feelings come up, and you feel like you don't have a way out to talk about them and things like that, you might want to reach out to somebody with an unbiased opinion,
right?
Like a professional. And man, for the whole time I was talking to her, man, she only had like a couple sentences for me, and it was, "You did this before, Doug. You can do it again." Mm-hmm. And for her to sit there and listen to everything I told her, and for her to just be like, bro, you know who you are and what you've been through. You know what I mean? You don't want to start up with somebody. I've been talking to this lady for so long now. It's like, hey, you can do this. It's like, reinforcing things that I kind of already know. I feel like, you should, for people out there, you should definitely check out therapists, man. I feel like everybody need them. Don't just go to church because Jesus helps. But I feel like 90% of people in church need therapy too. so it's like, hey, go see y'all therapist, man. Get one.
That's a serious point though, because a lot of times when you think about therapy, you think of like a lot of men's problem is vulnerability, and that's what therapy kind of forces people to do, is to be vulnerable and actually tell the truth in therapy, because it doesn't work unless you do that.
And you just touched on something. So it works when you go in there who you are, not who you're trying to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like some people go into therapy, kind of scared to talk about who, the real, you know what I mean, and what you've been through and things like that. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man, it took me like 4 sessions to get my vulnerability down. You know what I mean? And get you somebody who talks to you. Cause she looked at me, it's like, bruh, I feel like you holding something back. And I just sat there, and the first time I let in, bro, I had to drop a tear or two, because it's like, you got to deal with who you are and what you've been through in order to get to where you're trying to go.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, like growing up where I grew up and where all of us grew up at, there's a lot of stuff that is hidden in like plain sight. Like, we think that we're cool in the sense.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of quirks to your personality that come from trauma that you dealt with back in the day, or stuff that you've seen in your past that you don't even know why you do stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we do right now that comes from the trauma that we've been through, that we witnessed as kids. I look at the kids that went through more stuff that I've been through, and I wonder how they keep their sanity in a sense. You know what I mean? But we take it out on stuff like in our relationships. We take it out on stuff in our everyday lives, mistrusting people, because of stuff you went through in your past. And therapy is one of the ways that you can actually talk that stuff through and get that stuff out of your system, because it is a cancer in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you just let that stuff fester in your mind and all that stuff, you will behave like the people that you come to dislike, or the actions that you come to dislike in the past.
Right.
And it eats at you, I think, like you was touching on, speaking of childhood traumas, because I feel like it differentiates through this generation now. See, back in the day, you outside trying to be somebody you're really not, or you're not comfortable with. Say, for instance, if you was like more of an introvert and you'd rather stay in the house and things like that, but you got peer pressure around the kids in the hood, want you to come outside, and now you sitting here doing things to make them comfortable, jumping off of roofs, breaking into people's houses and whatnot, you know what I mean? Because I used to be that kid jumping off a school roof. What you doing up there? You know what I mean? You didn't witness a lot of things like murder and a lot of other stuff that went on. And then it's like, it kind of eats at you, because then you going home, you can't talk to your parents about that shit, especially if your mom don't want to hear it. And it just festers and builds and builds and builds. Nowadays, you got kids hiding they trauma away in Roblox and Fortnite and YouTube and things like that. Like, these kids, you can't talk to them, and they rather go to their room and rather do screen time instead of talking to you. I feel like now you got to talk to your kids.
That's what I was going to lead into, because that's not just the fault of the kid.
Right.
The kids, in a sense, are the cookies. Like, you don't get mad at the cookies if they come out burnt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the parents have to dig stuff out of their kids. They have to talk. They have to force them to open up and realize, something might not be, something is off or whatever. Like, a lot of times we give kids social media, we give them tablets, we give them stuff to ease our mind, to keep them busy. And busy is not necessarily a good thing. A lot of times we need to actually hear what they're going through, what they're talking about, how they process what they've seen or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can't do that if you just keep pacifying your kids with devices and all that stuff and games and all that stuff.
I was about to say, bro, I'm not perfect, man. Like, even with mine, I don't get them that much, or, the weekend and things like that, and, split custody. But it's like, I find out that you can get YouTube on different things. Everything. Bro, I was sitting there looking at my daughter playing a Switch the other day, and I'm like, that's not a game I bought you. I hear them talking back and forth and having dialogue. And I looked at it, like, bro, you can get YouTube on here?
Right.
Like, oh, that's crazy. But yeah, man, man, be more in your kid's life, man, and go see a therapist and do what you got to do.
And it's a big world.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, I don't want to say normal, but a lot of people are going through trauma themselves.
Yeah.
So they can't talk to their kids because they have an addiction or they went through trauma, and they're teaching their kids the way they was raised.
Right. The generation.
So that's why history repeats itself.
Yeah.
That's why boys go out here and do what they think men are supposed to do and get caught up in the streets, or girls think, oh, I'm listening to this. I'm listening to music my mama listening to, and she young, and she listening to this type of music. They listening to it, so they think, oh, getting for his money. You know what I mean? So it's different kind of traumas for each household. You got single parent households, you got dual parent households, you got custody sharing and all that kind of stuff. So definitely, what you're saying is true. Like therapy would definitely help.
I was about to say it'll make it harder.
Once we make it a norm, that everybody does it, I think it'll be, like you say, like my kids, they like to play, my son, he like to play video games or whatnot. And you say he had, some kids.
Yeah.
But when we was younger, we just used to play sports.
Yeah.
That was our way, just go outside.
Yeah.
We just gonna go outside and not talk about what just happened, what your,
Correct.
You know what I mean, what happened at school, or who touched me, or nothing like that. You just gonna bury it all in, and you're gonna just have that anger and all of that stuff and put it out on other people. You want to fight and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you get older, then you realize, okay, I can talk more, I can open up more, but
and that's what
it ain't as easy as it seems. Like,
it's not easy at all.
I don't like going to the hospital. I don't want to go to the doctor. So I don't really want to go to the therapist and tell them all my business, for them to like, hey, I'm leaving now, but I'm pointing to another therapist, and I don't want to give all my business to somebody that's not going to take it.
No, who won't? Because I mean,
that's why I talk to people I know.
What your parents say, bro, you don't go out there and give them white people your business or put them white people your business. It's not that. You know what I mean?
A therapist, in a sense, is supposed to be somebody that's not necessarily they don't know you, so you can pour out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like confession at a Catholic church. You know what I mean? You're supposed to give your problems away, in a sense, tell and get an unbiased opinion. That's what therapy is supposed to be about. But so much of us, like everybody, you can't help but care what somebody else thinks, even strangers. So when it comes down to like pouring your heart out, it is tough. Because,
and they say it in the Bible too, bro. Wise counsel or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna do your own research in the Bible, but I feel like you were saying, you know what I mean? Like nobody's perfect when it comes to the whole parenting thing. Like some kids do just go have fun, bro. Like we have game nights at my house all the time. Right. My kids love playing like Smash Brothers, and things like that. And we legit do it for fun, and it creates like a good little bonding time outside of going out and having fun with them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it do be those moments where you feel like something's going on with your kid, and you like they don't want to talk to you, or they feel uncomfortable about talking about it and things like that. Like I've been there, but like I said, I'm trying to fix me first. Right. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if I can't fix what I'm going through, I'm supposed to fix my kids. You get what I'm saying?
And you know what? Like the cold part about it is a lot of parents don't talk because they don't feel like they're qualified. You know what I mean? They don't feel like they understand. Right. What do I do when
nobody's technically qualified? You know what I mean?
Right. What do I do when that problem arises and I have to deal with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I actually thought about you the other day, bro. Speaking of unqualified, because to be real with you, man, I really applaud you, bro, for what you're doing for your son and things like that. The whole coaching and being there for him and things. Because like me having a son, I really had to have a vulnerable moment. You know what I mean? I don't care how many kids you got or what you're doing. Don't nobody got a blueprint to this whole parenting thing, man. Especially like a man, which brought us to our subject today. But it's like, don't nobody have the answers. And I feel like with me having a son, like, damn. Now I gotta sit here and dust off the old brawly look and being a man walking around with a Vikings hat and attitude. And I'm like, no, you ain't gotta do all that, man, to have a son. But it's like, just
like what you said earlier. You said there's no perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know how the voting system go, but for the last 12 years, I've been voted best dad in the world.
It's been unanimous.
It's unanimous.
I kind of feel.
I don't know how to vote this
12 years in a row.
Electoral.
And they sound like Donald Trump right now.
And electoral. Somebody pistol that in.
I've had the
I
best
don't know how the votes
success.
go. I'm just saying, I take the awards every year, and it seems like I've been winning. So, no, but like you're saying, vulnerable moments with your kids. Like I love my son, and he's the miracle baby, as I call him. And I sneak little words in there. So when we talking, I'll be whispering to him, so nobody else. I probably ain't talking about now. Hey, since you're my best friend, I'm just gonna tell you right now, and just tell him something. Another week later, hey, come here, you're my best friend, right? So I can tell you this. So, and I just tell him something. So then he's like, oh, my dad's my best friend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he gonna come to me.
And the cool part is he doesn't act like that. He knows it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you talk about him, is always with that like oh wow, like that little look in the eye, and I love that. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I don't have sons. I got nephews and all that stuff, but I don't have no son. And he probably would be eating like gunpowder or some shit.
And that's why, I told Brittany, I don't have sons, bro. Like I got daughters, and my role for them is that I guess the hawk and the protector and things like. They don't want to talk to me. They only come to me when they want something either smashed, killed, or handled. And it's like, all right, you know what I mean? It's like, but when I try to talk to them, they look at me like, bruh, we don't want you to worry about this at this moment. And I'm like, no,
I'm going through that right now. You know what I mean? I swear to God, every time I'm the literal last person to know something.
I don't know nothing.
But I respect it in a sense because I let their mother handle a lot of stuff because they're girls or whatever.
Right.
But I want to present myself to my daughters as somebody that they can confide in.
Like I do got thoughts. I got emotions too.
It also comes with a caveat because if you tell me something where I feel like you're in danger or something,
we gotta handle that.
I will kill.
Yeah, and that's
I will maim. I will hurt. I will in your honor. You know what I mean? So you do have to kind of be careful with what you tell me.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, you could trust me with some of the small
that's
stuff.
what I be hearing
you know
about.
What I mean?
My oldest daughter, man, she be telling her mom not to tell me certain stuff because she was like, I don't want you to go do nothing about it. I'm like, well, I mean, ain't that the reason why you're supposed to tell your daddy? You know what I mean? But then it's like, now you have a son. It's like, I got another dude I can relate to. But what are you supposed to do? Be out here fishing with no fishing pole? Yes. Like, you know what I mean? In the woods with no toilet paper? Like, how manly am I supposed to be?
Right. The cold part is I hope that when a person has a son, and I see it right now, like our cameraman, he has a son right now, and he's showing him exactly.
Yeah, man, we appreciate y'all, man.
Exactly what manhood is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a hyper toughness.
No.
It's not like a over exaggerated ideal of what I'm gonna kill you soon if you disrespect me a little bit. No. Yeah, it's logic, it's protection, it's trust. It's all of that stuff, and
lead by example. It's a safe space of work ethic, bro.
It's working, right? It's showing your son to come to work and to do stuff that you like to do, to push forward and stuff, to overcome adversity.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not this hyper like some kids a lot of kids that learn manhood, especially without the guidance of a real man, they learn the hyper. Examples, they learn the over-exaggerated ideal of what a man is. Oh, I'll kill you if you look at me wrong. I'll do this right.
I actually like that example you gave us before we actually started. It was because it created a whole analogy in itself. Like you with your pops and with the nuts and bolts and you mix them up. If in a real moment I would have had you fix that situation by yourself and figure it out because now you got strategy and fear.
I don't know. Right. My pops was a gorilla, bro. The worst thing that you could have ever told me as a kid is I'm gonna tell your father.
Right.
I'm like, because it came with, I know how to behave and I'm not doing it right now.
Right.
So it came with something, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it made me who I am in that sense, you know what I mean? He raised 4 kids by himself. In all honesty, my mother, she had her struggles. My grandmother helped him quite a bit, but in the same breath, he still stepped up to that, and took it. And I'm not claiming that no perfection in that at all, but it was at least the willingness to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that says a lot. I commend father. I look at them all day. I see it in my job. I see it all the time. I see good fathers. And I interject when I see somebody not making a mistake or doing something that I give my 2 cents to. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is a tough job.
Not even just fathers, just like this is my brother, you know what I mean? So just seeing how good of a man he is, that I can trust my son in his presence, that he will have the same type of message, And I'm a coach now, so I'm coaching kids that's not my kids, but I got to show them discipline and taking accountability. Correct. So we had a situation just yesterday at a game. where one of the players called another kid a derogatory term when he told his daddy, because his daddy hot. So he like, this kid said this to my son, and the little boy's crying. So I gotta go talk to the other kid, like, that was rude, disrespectful, I need you to apologize.
Sure.
And he's one of the starters, so I didn't start him. After the game, you know, we riding home, and he literally, I don't think I should have been benched. You know, so even after I talked to you and explained to you, so I'm like, okay, so let's put the shoe on the other foot. What if somebody did something disrespectful to you? What should I have done to that person? And he said, oh yeah, I get it. Why do you get, I didn't say this, but you see it when you putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long story, but that's just saying that coaches, everybody around you can be a figure to your son. As long as you put them in the right position. You know, I could be like, man, you're just joking. Shake that off. Stop crying. You know what I mean? I could be like that, but just knowing, I would like, if I'm not there, my son is disrespected, being that he's around different race of people, you know, because we don't live where we used to live at, you know what I mean? So he's in a diverse world. And where I come from, it was black, Mexican, and Tongans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A few Asians, a few white, maybe one white person. One white kid. One tough white kid. But now, they grow up amongst everybody. Yeah. So it's a little different, and it's like, I don't want you going to school saying that. I know you watch Martin with me, and you watch this.
Don't be a white boy Rick.
We roast and stuff like that, but you can't do the same. But back to, fatherhood and good men around your kids, and everybody can be a influence.
A village, because at the same time, you know, now, or even back in the day, they got those people who be like, well, I don't want that person talking to my kids and this and that. But I feel like you build constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Because then your child is able to accept advice. Because now you got some of these kids out there where you can't tell them what to do. You sure? Because I think where you headed is not being the right direction.
They can't. You can't tell a kid what to do because their parents tell them. You can't tell them what to do.
So that's what I was saying. When he said that, I'm like, so if you say, I'm telling your dad, he'd be like, I don't care.
Right.
And he ain't going to do nothing to me. But I'm here, so you're not going to be able to do that on this team.
Right.
You might have paid to be here, but I can revoke that. You know what I mean? So just enforcing that. I don't want him to fear not being on the team. I want him to know it's not what you did was wrong. Right. What you did was wrong, you know. So.
And that's like people there's differences of how men raise kids and how women raise kids. With my daughters, there definitely is consequences. When I say something, I mean exactly what I say. If I tell you that if you do that, I'm gonna take your phone for 2 weeks, I'm gonna take it for 2 weeks exactly. It's not gonna be no shorter than that. You're not gonna talk me out of it. There's no negotiation. That like so many people wanna kind of like. I heard a term today, like you maintain kids. You feed them, you clothe them. That's not just it.
No.
You have to instill in them all these different principles and stuff. A kid has to know that there's consequences to their actions.
And that's what actually being vulnerable. You know what I mean? Especially you, bro. Y'all my brothers, man. So I feel like that was part of my therapy. I'll be open with y'all for a minute. So what y'all do is actually full time. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm with the co-parenting situation where I done been with a person and got a divorce and things like that. But it makes it harder when you and the other person don't ever get along. And then now you're doing the co-parenting thing, and it's like you got to hit a reset button every time you see your kids because they're acting totally different than what they would be when they're with their other parent.
Right.
You know, with your other parent, you let things slide. Now with you and me, can't do that.
Right.
But then going back what you're saying, because you got to pick and choose with the days you have your kids, what side of the father you get, and it's hard trying to break those walls down because, like, no matter what, I still gotta install morality in you, especially with daughters and things like that. Because, like, when they're with me, all they want to do is cuddle and I miss you, this and that. And it's like, hey, man. But then when y'all do something wrong, y'all still want to do that whole sweet thing. It's like, no,
right.
That's when I want to talk to you because I'm not the type of person to put my hands on my daughters. I can't beat my kids, man. I can't hit them.
I will whoop their ass in a second.
But I feel like, with me, when I get, it's like it's friendly, but then when I get pissed off, they know when I'm pissed off because I'm a totally different dude. And then they be like, oh, now we got this 290-pound dude banging on doors, running in the walls, chasing us, and it's like because my voice is different, my tone of voice is different. I'm not cussing at them, but it's like, I'm firm. And it's like, y'all got to understand, especially with them right now, it's 4. y'all gotta learn how to be cool, especially because y'all beefing with each other. And it's like, I'm trying to instill in y'all morality right now, and y'all don't get it.
And kids are not going to understand that part of it. They understand it later.
Yeah.
You know, my daughters look at stuff now, and they see how I was and how I am even now. And they even know the differences how I treat my granddaughter. You know what I mean? There are differences. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was install to them that there is a consequence to your action.
Yes.
And you are accountable to how you're viewed, how you looked at, how you behave,
how you carry yourself.
Right.
And that's
that comes with sometimes it's not pretty.
No.
You're gonna get your ass whipped.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say ass whooped, but because I got beat, so I was like, I feel like what I went through, if I put my kids through it, bro, I'll probably be doing 25 to life.
But listen, everything. Like I tell people this: you have to be the ladder and not the step stool. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And the ladder is you start from where I ended. Not you're not starting from the ground when the steps are. Like, we don't have to go back to exactly how it came from, especially if it was something that was detrimental or something that wasn't effective.
But see, that's where, like, okay, so with co-parenting, you know, I know some people probably go through this, but you got those parents who probably talk a lot of shit against the other parent, and when you get there, that's the first thing you hear when you picking your kids up. You ain't trying to hear that, so you block it out. My job while you with me is to be your parent and basically teach you right from wrong.
Right.
So that's what I do with my kids. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I kind of do these long ass lectures. You know, you think I talk to you a lot. I talk to them a lot.
Right.
And I know with Naima, she's like a history buff. She like Daddy, what did you do when you was this age and this and that and this and that, and sometimes it's funny to her, because I give her the PG version. I don't want to give her that PG-13 because it gets rough after that. But she thinks it's funny. But at the same time, it's like you got to understand, after I tell you my story, I'm about to tell you the consequences of what happened. Mm-hmm. Because you don't understand, Daddy barely made it through. And you not from where Daddy from. You growing up in another situation.
I'll tell you that. I'll give you this piece of advice. Your kids are tougher and they're smarter than even what we even realize.
I believe it.
And I never, from myself, I never sheltered nothing from them. When I would take them over my mother and them house and they would see stuff that they normally didn't see where we came from, I wouldn't sugarcoat nothing. That girl is selling her body out here.
That was an argument between me and old girl,
right.
Like, hey, you shouldn't tell your kids this and this and that. I can't do it, man. Me I'm not a good liar, bro. I gotta tell these kids because I feel like if I do lie to my children, they, especially them two, the oldest two, they gonna come back at me because that 9-year-old is like a elephant, bro. She locks information in and she, remember you told me this and this and that. And I'm not about to sit here and just like go back into a lie. So I figured, hey, let me tell y'all the truth. I feel like me sheltering them from certain information is hindering them.
Exactly. And we have to do now.
But I don't want to make them too grown either.
No.
So it's certain information.
You have to give them a bit of the truth that benefits them, and not necessarily everything. But you do have to tell them the truth, and you have to kind of uncut in some parts of it. These people are out here this way because this happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a consequence of their behaviors. You know what I mean? And some of this stuff is their fault. Some of it's not. And you can either be a victim of that and fall into that same trap, or you can be a person that goes above and beyond and be above that type of stuff too.
How old is one?
He's 10.
See, okay, so and he's focused on basketball right now. See, I got Naima and Nia, my oldest two, and they focus on cheerleading and WWE.
How old are they?
11 and 9. And I feel like with the cheerleading, I can't really relate. I just can't do cheer and cheer. Oh, I can't do cheer and cheerleaders. That's just not.
I got twins.
But I feel like with the whole what you're saying about being real, I do use that analogy with the whole wrestling because they do love wrestling and they ask what's real and what's not and things like that. And I reference to life. I know it's hard to do, but I'm the dude to do it. I accept it as a challenge and I'm doing it. So I let them know. So they like to go back in history and see what is and what's real. And we refer to that as life sometimes. Like what's going on, what's a lie, what's reality, and like what's the consequences of that situation. So that's what we like to do, as far as like I like to use examples because I feel like with kids, they kind of like with ADHD, they'll go left with it, if that makes sense. But that's what I like to relate that to, as far as like going the whole morality thing. But anyway.
Like I said, my girls are 12, and I can't come to whoop them. Like you said, you'll whoop them.
See, I can't do it. I can't put my hands on them, man.
I whooped Wallace before. Now, just for him disrespecting his mama. I ain't never laid a hand. I'm just them puppy eyes and
I can't do it, man.
Pull your fucking
You'll
heartstrings.
take their phone for 2 weeks. I'll take it for 2 days and be like,
See?
I think she learned it.
Yeah. I take their remote.
Don't do it again.
I can't.
I say this, my bad for interrupting, but I say this, and when I look at my kids, I look at myself as being life, and it's an analogy in a sense. I have to be life to them, and what I mean is how reality is going to treat them. Are they going to give them breaks? Hell no. Are they going to take them easy? No.
I wonder if Child
Right.
Protective
So-
Services call you after 20.
Hey,
No, but it's based on the age too.
Yeah.
It is.
And
Yeah.
not even just the age, the maturity.
Yeah.
So my girls are really mature.
I'm about to say
No, they are.
the offense.
They are.
Yeah.
You can explain things like that when you go back
Exactly.
to where we come from and explain things a little bit better. But you know, even Wallace, you know, being that he's so close in age, they 12, he's 10.
He
seeing
picking up something,
everything
yeah.
that they send.
Yeah.
So he's advanced.
Yeah.
You know? He's at 93 percentile of reading, and
Right.
you know what I mean. So he's always trying to.
He got
keep up
that.
with them.
Yeah, he got an
So
example.
I can explain to him, or we can watch a movie and still he can understand the same concept.
Correct.
Maturely, you know what I mean. So if you raising them mature, that's why like we live in America and it's frowned upon for kids to have like a 15-year-old to have a baby or a 16-year-old to have a baby. Oh, you got a baby. But somewhere else, that's where you're supposed to start having kids.
Yeah.
Man. Originally, like if you can have, you know, you're on your cycle or whatever, you're supposed to have to be able to have babies. So here we got to teach them a little bit different. But
Correct.
in my mind, I'm like, I understand it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I'm not going to fall. If my daughter is 18 and she falls in love and have a baby, I'm not saying you had a baby too early. I can't predict what your life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
had to eat that one too, because the plan that I have for my kids is not their life. You know what I mean? It's not their life. What I want is totally different from what reality is.
Right.
You have to let them live. You have to let them fall. You have to let them get up. You have to let them, all that stuff.
Exactly.
The thing is, as a parent, you're picking up the pieces in a sense. You're putting them back together. You dusting them off. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest lesson. Of course, I want to stop them from making mistakes. Of course, but mistakes are not bad. Not every
You
one
learn
of them.
from it.
Right.
Man, I mean, we wouldn't be where we at now if it wasn't for mistakes,
Right. You have to scuff your knees up a little bit in order to kind of learn how to walk. You know what I mean?
Which actually goes into our topic today, bro, because I was kind of thinking about it, you know, and of course I had y'all help with going from like standing on business, you know what I mean? And of course I needed help with because I was thinking about this over and over again about how men protect their peace versus things that we do that some people label as immaturity versus the things that we have to do. And that was actually, we've been touching on it the whole time. It's like, you know, we dictate, or people think we dictate, or parents dictate what goes on for their kids and things like that. But it's like sometimes even for ourselves, we gotta learn how to let that go in order for it to be. You get what I'm saying? Like for our kids, like I can't touch on even my kids, my oldest being 11. You know, some things I gotta, and it's hard to do. I sit back and I listen to her talk. I listen to what she do. I listen to everything, and I'll be like, damn, I don't want you to do that. But sometimes I feel like she's smart. I gotta have more faith in her. Do what you gotta do. I feel like you're gonna learn from this.
I use that cookie analogy a
Yeah.
lot, right? And I say that.
I heard it.
Right, I say it all the time because it's the truest thing ever,
Yeah.
and I really go by it. My wife was saying something. I forgot what we were talking about, but I told her the cookies are cooked now. They are. We raised them already. They're 23 and 21. Like
Again, man,
I'm
you did
gonna
a damn good job.
literally stand on
Yeah.
my creations in that sense. I've raised them to be good, thoughtful young women. I'm gonna stand on that, and I'm gonna do my best as a parent to protect them from any downfalls that they have in life. I'm gonna be their crutch in any avenue that they pursue. But like I stand on the fact that they are who I've already created
Correct.
them to be. You know what I mean? They took all the lessons that I've had over their childhood. They took all the talks, the lectures, all that stuff. They've got their spankers, their whoopings, and all that stuff. And they are the young ladies right now who I train them to be from here on. You know what I mean? And I'm happy with the job that I've done, and my wife has done.
Fatherhood is never over, bro. You see
It's-
where you
and
be
it's
at
not,
Mondays,
right.
you know what I mean?
It's not.
You see where you be.
Right. I look at people that parent different, like he parents a little different. Like he said, he doesn't. I don't like. He does a fucking amazing job. He talks to his kids. He
Yeah.
disciplines them in different ways. You know what I mean? I have my way. There's no wrong answer to
No.
that. The only wrong answer would be not to be there.
Yeah.
And as long as you're there, you're there in any fashion that you can be, then you're doing your job.
And see, that's the part too. You know what I mean? Like that's why I keep commending y'all, because I'm actually learning from y'all, man. I do love y'all for that, man, because y'all teaching me how to at least stay active. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm a deadbeat or nothing like that, but you know, when you dealing with somebody who likes to take their anger out and
through
use
the kids, through the
and
avenue
things
of
like that, like you
I
already
hate
know
it,
the
bro.
story, bro. You already
I
know the
hate it.
story,
Yeah.
and it sucks. But it's like when I do get them, you know, it's like a transition, and it's a hard transition because it's like now you're dealing with what their mom been saying and everything else like that. And it's like, bro, sometimes I'll be in my room and I just want to smoke something, but I can't.
But the
It's
thing
like-
is this, like kids don't recognize it, and they might not recognize it when they 6, 7, and 12,
dude.
whatever, but they
Right.
will recognize it.
And that's
I'm like that all the
yeah.
Right, and they will recognize. They like, I recognize it.
Yeah.
I've seen the stuff that my parents went through,
Right.
and I look back at it in my adult lens that I'm looking at it in my past, and I've seen like stuff that my parents did good, something that they did bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I still see the truth now, and cause you know what I mean?
Bro, I was about to say my father-in-law actually told me something, man, and it was at first I felt like, damn, that's some cold-hearted shit. But I was like, then you think about it, put yourself first. When you think about certain situations, especially dealing with kids and co-parents and things like that, because I feel like if you worried about your kids and worry about the whole situation, especially in co-parenting and them using the kids against you, you're gonna be sitting there stressing yourself out all day. He said, be a father when they're with you. Chase what they chase, be in the moment, because when they're away and you sitting there worrying and stressing and trying to fight, he says it's like you fighting a ghost,
And
it's hard.
So I see this. So I'm a barber, blood. So when I talk to everybody, it's the same story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my advice is the same to each person. And like they're gonna say this about you.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But you have to show the kids different.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that anybody could tell my kids about me that will combat what they actually seen in me.
And see,
You know
that's
what I mean?
where I got to sit in there, shout out, you know, of course, you know, Boss Britt, you know, she's like my morality coach, because sometimes I just wanted to sit back and be like, fuck this, you know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but she was like, remember who you are. You know what I mean? Your kids going to see you for who you are. And that's why I keep thinking about Wallace and the sacrifices that he do, you know, with his son, because I'm about to hit that stage soon. And it's like, you know, I don't want to sit there and live past experiences through him. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like a fresh start. But it's I'm still a father, and I got to show the same love that I'm going to show them. Now, the situation I'm dealing with now is they think like, oh, daddy been wanting a son for years, and he finally get one, he going to forget about us. No, I'm not. That's not what this is about. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know, when they come over, I still give them their due diligence, bro. I still talk to them, and I let them know, every last one of them, I'm here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I talk to them individually. Every last one of them got a different personality. And it's hard to keep up with, especially when you got 4. You got 3, bro. So you got different personalities, and it's hard to keep up with them. But then it's like you got to talk to each of them different. Mm-hmm. But you tell them the same story.
Message, yeah.
Like, I'm here. You know what I mean? Whatever y'all need, daddy, I got your back. You know, whether it's through whatever you need me to do. You know, rather bugs, you're going to be cute bugs, you're going to be go to cheerleading, you're going to be sit here. I got one who want to go to WrestleMania for a birthday. I never heard that from a daughter ever. And I was like, right. Like, you know how much that's going to cost? But I still got to do what I got to do. But as far as like them growing up being who they going to be, it's like I got to incorporate all that, bro. And I can't forget who I am, even as a father, you know what I mean? And it's hard to do.
I be feeling for a lot of the fathers I see on social media, a lot of the people I came up with, like, somewhere, I don't know your situation, but just going off of what they post, it's like the female using the child as a pawn and keeping them away from them. And I see them fighting for them and wanting to fight for them. And it's just, you know, I'm not in that position, so I can't say, man, just, you know, it's easy for me to be like, man, when I'm with you, just be in the moment. but the other stuff that come with it, not waking up. Like I love waking up and being able to, when I'm not at work, I can walk my kids to school.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at every one of my son's basketball practices. I'm at every game. I'm at my daughter game, leave his game, get to my daughter game.
Right.
You know, I put that effort in to make sure I'm there, even though I'm there always.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's definitely a tough break, bro.
Fathers that can't get to their kids the way they want to.
Because it's like what you call it, a culture shock. And I know you're big on culture, but it's like, you know, you go from reading books to your child every night to go to sleep, or hearing bedtime stories and whatnot, to now all of a sudden, like, you know, you got split custody, or, you know, it's a culture, because now you, as a man, you go through a change. You know, now you're sitting here in your apartment, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't hear no kids. The silence will kill you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Full-time father.
I've been a full-time father,
Right.
and it's like, what's going on? But now it's like, you know, you're trying to get your kids back. You fight, and then it goes back to what we talked about a while back about the whole system. You know, I feel like that's definitely not for black fathers at all. The system, man.
It's not for fathers in general. What I've come to find out is this is not unique in any situation to race. I've talked to Mexican men, black men, white men, all of them, and they all go through the same situation. When the kid gets when the family splits, the men get screwed.
Oh, dude,
in that sense, you know what I mean?
I heard a story. Did I cut you off, bro? My bad, man. You're not late. Yeah, be honest, bro. If Thomas was here, he go ahead, bro.
I'm just all I'm saying is not unique. You know what I mean? And a lot of fathers don't get into the court game. You know what I mean?
No.
And we don't fight the same.
It's a lot of fucking paperwork, bro.
Right. Like the end of the day, all I see a lot of times is the father is not willing to use the kids as pawns. The mothers are. I see a lot of times the father will take into consideration that this is not the best fight to put my kid through, and then they lose those battles, and then they sit and holding the deadbeat kind of title in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's not all the way fair in that sense.
No, that's what therapy come in too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because at the same time they teach you not to give a damn. And I hate to say it like that, but when you know, when you really caring about the situation, bro, like that, and you lose not to her, but you losing to the system. You know what I mean? Because of course that's what they do. Like, good example. I seen this dude in court, man, and I know you're not supposed to tell the people's stories, but I just couldn't help myself. Sue me. So the dude been taking care of the kids the whole time. The mom was like an alcoholic and things like that. She went through her AA or whatever she had to do. I seen it, bro. The judge gave her the custody back after she completed what she had to do. This man been taking care of these kids for 3 years, doing what he had to do. And all of a sudden got them snatched away because all of a sudden I'm like, what type of favoritism shit is that? They said she had her license revoked. She been drinking, driving, and everything like that. But this dude was lawyered up, and he was living, you know, straight, sacrificing everything to pick up his kids, doing what he had to do. And for him to get that snatched from him, bro, in the back, I was sitting there going through my emotions like, fuck, that's messed up.
See, people got to understand the system. I know everybody like, oh, it ain't systematic and all that kind of thing, but once you put a man on child support, you didn't let the man in your business.
Yeah.
It's gonna favor the woman because they're gonna get paid from this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every man that pays child support, the county gets money as well. You know, the lady the woman that got custody, now she can't work, this, that, the other, put her on Section 8, but a man can't live there. That's just
crazy.
That's going against the man again. You know what I mean? So if the man can't pay, he goes to jail. What sense does that make? The children are out here. You're going to put me in jail. You're going to revoke my license. I can't get to work.
Right.
So it's all set up for the system to get paid now that you put them in your business. And once, if that can be explained to women versus, put his ass on child support. Don't let him see him and all that kind of stuff. That's that trauma stuff that get pushed down from child to child.
Yeah.
If women understood the detriment that you're gonna put your kids through, you through, your husband through, his future, everything is in shambles. So now he lost his job because he couldn't pay child support, and now he really can't pay. You know what I mean? Like,
but you saying this, right?
BS.
You saying that like traumatically, some people, they don't give a fuck about that. Like I've seen I'm dead serious.
Hey, but
And the cold part about it, I've seen women that do not care.
No.
They want the destruction of the other
Yeah,
person.
they want that.
Right. Like when I look at my wife, there's nothing that, like, if let's say we break up or we go our separate ways,
Yeah.
I still want the best for her. I don't think that that's the thing that a lot of people can say that they will actually want for their spouse.
No.
And it's sad because, like you said, if you're not with me, I want you I want you in the dirt, is what a lot
That's
of people
mature,
think. Right.
though.
And they will burn down. They'll burn the kid down to get to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the cold part about it. They like put them on child support, taking them to jail, sending them. They want their life in jail for not being with me. You know what I mean? And that's a terrible way
And
I
messed
look
up,
at it. Right.
how you look at it is, now that you got the person on child support and things like that, you want him as a shell as what he used to be.
Exactly.
So now it's like, what type of person are you sending him to if y'all do the co-parenting? You know what I mean? Now you out here getting this weak-willed man, or a man struggling, or a man, in trouble or whatever, because some dudes out here, bro, who are just like, fuck this and fuck that, like they mental is gone. That image is being instilled in your kids. So now they thinking that's okay. And what you're really doing is you're repeating, again, what you're saying. You're
burning down the house to get one person, right?
They think that's
fucking
okay.
up
Chaos.
everything else they
used to chaos now.
Right. And shout out to the women that know the difference of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to me, what I've seen in my experience of looking at people sitting in my chair is I see the opposite of that a lot of times. I see women will hold their kids up as human shields to get to their.
But I was told that don't make your kid, or that don't make the other person look bad. It actually makes you look bad.
After
but I was just about to say that, but you gotta
fact.
wait until so many years to go past for that kid to look, because that's what I did. You know what I mean? Like, even growing up in a single parent home, it's like, okay, what's going on here? As I got older, then I was, God willing, able to get the full story. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, damn. Like, that's what, even going to therapy, like, I forgive my pops, bro. Like, I forgive my mom too, you know what I mean? It's like, of course they had certain situations and things like that with each other. But what my pops had to do, I feel like, bro, I probably would have did the same thing.
I look at my situation and it's literally this. I don't care.
Right.
And not to say that I'm mad at anybody when I say that. What I don't care to know. What I know is I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what my parents went through as what they were going, what struggles they were under, what pressures they were under, what situations they were in, who was in their ear. I don't know. I'm the man who I am because I went through whatever they gave me, right. and I'm blessed because of whatever they.
So
gave
you never
me
wanted that, like that whole background history part about,
I know
what I mean, to put the pieces together.
I know it, and I just don't care enough to blame anybody for it.
That part,
you know
okay. What I mean? So that's the understanding.
I understand that life is life. You know what I mean? It's gonna be tough. It's tough on them. It's tough on me.
They got through that maturity, because I had to get to that point.
And what I wanted to be is a ladder to my kids,
right,
through what they taught me.
Correct.
My parents taught me stuff to do, and they told me stuff not to do. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be a ladder to my kids through that. That is it.
I felt like, that's where I was at when I went through the last chaotic situation. I didn't want to repeat, and I felt like it was repeating, and I felt like I'd be damned if that goes that way. And sometimes, even though it's crazy as it sounds, I feel like sometimes you got to tear down a false building or false foundation to build something more structured. If you see it like, oh, I see that piece right there, why does it look so familiar? I feel like this is going a certain way. I don't want that. So now I feel like, okay.
That's what you should do in the beginning.
Yeah.
So not to even like how you say, like, there are good women out there.
Right.
And it is bad men out there, or men that make bad choices.
Right.
So if you're going to lay down with this woman, you shouldn't procreate with this woman if you know what type of woman you're dealing with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
sometimes you don't know.
You're not going if she masked it that good, but you shouldn't be having a child with someone until you ultimately know them.
Spoken like
ask what, I mean, we met young, so it's a little different. But nowadays, like, if you 30-something, you just meet a woman, you want to get to know her before you like, all right, let's lay down. Then I have a kid, and then she keeping them from you. It shouldn't be a surprise. You got to take, like I said, we was talking about accountability. You got to take, hey, I lay down with her. This is part of my fault. Don't always just
I'm about
bash
to tell
the
part
woman.
of that lesson that you told me that we're sitting at that table. You got to
Don't go to therapy and bash her and bash her. Say,
You know what?
I'm taking my part of this.
I literally told a young lady that the other day. We spoke, like, a young lady is learning in our shop, and I spoke to her like, it's all of our fault. You know what I mean? There's no innocent people in this. You're not a victim of your life. You are a participant. You know what I mean? So when I say that, you have to take responsibility for your part in that.
Yeah.
If you don't fully know somebody and you have a baby, then some lessons are going to be taps on the hand, some are going to be punches in the face.
Oh, definitely.
Right, and that's a punch in the face because it's an 18-year left. You're going to be married to this person one way or the other.
One way or another.
Right. You're going to be married to the kid, or you're going to be married to whatever. You know what I mean? And to have a kid with somebody you don't know, there is a lesson in that, and not fully know. And that people can mask their stuff for a long time, but you got to know. When I was looking at my wife, I looked at how she interacted with her family. Was she the person that they came to gossip, or was she the one that they came to for love and understanding? And I told her up front, don't play with them with me. I'm just him.
You got a solid family, bro.
Right. But not even that. It's I would take all accountability if it wasn't. You know what I mean? So I have to, because it's my fault. I didn't vet her the right way. I didn't look at her the right way. I missed something. You know what I mean? That's where I stand on it. And that leads back to standing on business. I'm principled. I'm not going to blame nobody else for my life. It's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I appreciate you for that accountability, man. 'Cause I feel like, that's where I'm learning a lot from, and even now from you. But 2023, like we already know, man, that's been a big part of like our accountability history. But then that goes back into therapy too. You know what I mean? Like people go in there and you learn or not learn, but you blame other people. You throw daggers and you throw this and throw that, bro. Again, it took the 4th session for me to sit there and dig deep on what I do, who I'm about. Because I felt like some people need to learn that even before you learn to procreate. Now they got kids going to therapy. They ain't even, where was that at when I was younger? It's like, bro, people need to talk to somebody. And even still, like, oh, you need to pray to God before you talk to that person. You do that if you want to, but you need to talk to somebody too and get somebody's
outside opinion if you're not too sure about your own.
But see, this is unique in this society, right? We raise kids and we let them go their own way. Back in the day, it was all guided, all from.
That's even friends, bro.
Right. It was all guided. I had a client that his parents, like, you finna marry her, and that's all it is to it. Yeah. And he did. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she's a doctor in New York, and
that goes with that dowry, bro.
Right.
Some people want the dowry. I would have went that way too.
My pop's only requisite would be if she a Raider fan or not.
Dude, sometimes people want that dowry, bro. And that's how it's funny how you was talking about earlier how different coaches are. Because certain different coaches, they don't care about that. They only care about, what kind of financial gain are we getting from you, getting with this person. So it's like, it's cool. Oh yeah. So
while we talking about standing on business, we wrapping up. But I want, this is, appreciate y'all coming to my shop.
Oh yeah, man. And shout out to the culture, man. Like this is actually pretty cool for you letting us host here, man. Like,
appreciate it. We barbers, so I wanted to, stand on business with a particular person, Cam Newton. Big hat. I seen him just recently have a post. Talk about barbers and how much haircuts she costs.
Fuck you, Cam.
This nigga done made over $1 trillion. Right?
Telling you what you
he said $100 is too much for a house call.
Right. Wow.
Now, I remember cutting hair for free in the basement. $10 in the shop,
right?
Free lineups, making flyers, going home trying to tell my wife this is gonna work out.
Right,
work with me.
They don't know your struggles.
I made $100 today.
and still gotta pay booth rent. And now I stack my chips to get this, and then when you say you want a house call, you're not thinking about how much I make an hour here.
Not the gas money.
You're not talking about gas money, tuna, all that stuff. But you want me to pack up all my stuff, come to your house, and you say 100 is too much, so you want to pay $100 million nigga.
Yeah.
Want to pay $50
Tell them
for
how
a
you feel,
haircut.
man. Tell them how you feel.
Hey, Cam, we respect you, but fuck you.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. With all due respect.
Stay out of our lane. You was getting paid, what, $100,000 a week? What was it? A game? $1 million a game or something like that?
It's
Mind your fucking, mind your
You play
business.
17, 16
Mind your
games a
goddamn
year.
business, Cam.
Didn't nobody tell you how to run a
16
touchdown.
I wish I could cut 16 hairs a year and make $100 million. Nigga, let me make my little change and take care of my. Nobody wants a barber who got a second job. Like, hey man, I would get you, but I gotta go to Home Depot, do my shift, and then I'm trying to be here for the people. People get married, people got trips to take, people got
That's from the heart.
graduations,
And
all this
we
type
more-
of stuff.
And
So
we more than barbers too.
yeah,
Anyway.
we therapists.
Right.
This conversation we would have off camera with no
Right,
problem.
right.
So we just recording, but Cam, I love you.
Just
brother.
talked about that.
Hey, stop hating on our pay, bro.
Hey, you know you got to heal with a Robinson, brother.
Today I don't have no Robinson, man.
What?
I don't. I had a million of
Man,
them.
get that man something more to drink, man.
I go
we-
back to the old one. I don't know if we lost this one or not. He said he loved cars. He a mechanic, and he said his prayer. He's now I lay me down to sleep. I park my Chevy across the street. If it should start before I wake, I pray the Lord to step on a brake. I love you, Pop.
Robinson in his best.
Hey, man, thank y'all for tuning in for season 2. This is how we starting it off, man. We appreciate y'all, man. God love.
Show off, show off, show DP stuff was stand up.
We back at it. HS. It's time to separate the pros from the cons. No doubt in my mind, I was born a guy. Hair full of wool, plus a skin of bronze. Plus I can heal the blind with these words of mine. Killmonger flow, I'm here to take what's mine. Pull up on your set, you ain't hard to find. Hey, shout out to the new that support the grind. And shout out to them new that ain't got the time. Every time they rhyme, all I do is yawn. But they swear they do it better, I guess we see with time. The way things are going, my stars are aligned. Life is Gucci, I guess that's the way it's designed. Seen a picture of myself, it was me in my prime. It was taken just today, I'm doing just fine. My mind's so sublime, my bitch is a 9. Click full of dimes, all we do is shine.
Yeah, I came for the throne. Yeah, I came for the throne. Yeah, nigga want his own. Yeah, I came for the throne. I don't want some.